Probably one of the most tragic and sad cases I was ever involved with was a Christmas Eve fire involving 3 children in Monroeville who died due to a fire which we claim was caused by a defective television set that had improper wiring in it that led to an electrical fire. It was a tragic situation, and certainly nobody would ever expect that something as benign, as innocent, as friendly as a television set could be something that would lead to a tragedy of this sort.
It's a story that came to us from a viewer. He wrote to tell us his Zenith had started on fire, and he suggested we should investigate further. We did, and what we found was that his was not the only complaint. Far from it. In fact, we learned about many cases, all involving models made from the 70s to mid-80s. And we also learned that the Zenith company has been doing its best to keep the whole thing quiet.
It's your worst nightmare. You go from the ultimate joy of Christmas to the ultimate tragedy of losing your 3 kids and actually hearing them die in front of you.
Lawyer John Gismondi is talking about his client Sandy Jones. She and her family used to live just outside Pittsburgh. On Christmas night, 1983, Mrs. Jones awoke to discover her living room engulfed in flames.
Mr. Jones was able to get out. They were trying to shepherd the kids out, get them out of their bedroom, lead them down the hallway to the master bedroom, and then out the window onto the carport. The mother is out on the carport roof. She's trying to urge the kids and lead them to the window. She hears them screaming, but they don't make it.
What happened that night? How did the fire start?
Obviously, we say the fire started because of a problem with the television set.
Zenith television set?
Yes, sir.
Fire investigators hired by the family concluded that the fire was caused by their Zenith TV. Mr. and Mrs. Jones sued Zenith, and the company settled out of court on the condition that the files be sealed. Neither Sandy Jones, John Gismondi, nor anyone else involved with the case is allowed to talk about the evidence or the settlement. Now, Zenith could say, we've settled this out of court, so it's nobody's business but our business and your client's business. That seems fair?
Except court proceedings are supposed to be public. What they did is not unheard of, but I will say that in my personal experience, I have never seen a company that was so concerned, so insistent, and to some extent so paranoid about muzzling attorneys who have represented consumers.
The fire that killed the Jones children was one of the most dramatic cases we came across in which Zenith TVs were implicated. But it's far from the only case. Court records show that Zenith has been sued more than 50 times by plaintiffs who claim that company's TVs caused fires. So why haven't we heard about this before? Well, one reason is that Zenith has gone out of its way to keep these fires a secret.
When we got involved in that case, we found out that this wasn't the only fire involving that make and model of television set. There had been a well-known fire that had occurred, I believe, in a state office building or the state capitol down in the state of Texas. And we got a great deal of information about the background on how these TVs are put together, what some of the problems are with TVs of that sort, and how they can lead to very, very tragic situations.